Well, hello, hello. So, you've decided you want to buy your very first Chanel handbag. And rather than go into the store, you're going to look online and try to shop online for it. Well, my name is Christy, and I'm here to teach you how to online shop to get the right item you want the first time around and never return anything ever again. And today, we're going to talk about how to spot a fake. Because when you shop online, you don't know what you're getting until it shows up. So you don't want to spend a lot of money on a luxury item you're gonna get and is not even real. Then you spend all that money and you probably can't get it back. So I'm gonna give you all the tips and tricks to ensure that the item you buy the very first time around is the actual item. All right, let's get started. First off, it can be extremely hard to shop for luxury goods online. A lot of these retailers don't even sell their items online. Chanel, the only thing they sell online is their makeup, skincare, and their fingernail polish. They do not sell their handbags online. Hermès does not sell their handbags online. In fact, you can't even get an Hermès Birkin bag unless you go into the actual store. And if you're in the US, you have to have a relationship with someone in that store, buy a whole bunch of other items, and then they allow you to buy a Birkin. I think it's a scam, and I think it's a joke. So if I were you, I would try to find one another way. I got lucky. I got mine at the flagship store in Paris. I think I just walked in that day and the guy was in a good mood and he felt sorry for me and said, "We have a bag." Because I can tell you right now, if they tell you they don't have a bag, they probably do. They're just lying to you because they're saving it for the person they actually want to sell it to. I'm sorry if that's not you. I've been in that position. They want someone that's going to come in and spend a lot of money. So instead, you're going to buy your item online in the resale market. So here are some tips and tricks to make sure you get the authentic luxury item you're looking for. First off, you have to shop at a reputable resale site. There are a whole bunch of different sites out there that will happily sell you something fake, but there are only a handful of good sites that focus on authenticity. A few off the top of my head: Vestiaire Collective, I've totally bought items from there. Poshmark is a pretty good site, and something called The Real Real. Now, all three of these sites authenticate. If you buy an item over $500, they're gonna automatically authenticate it, which means the seller has to ship the item directly to the Poshmark facility. Poshmark will authenticate the item, and then once they've guaranteed it's real, then they're gonna send it to you. So that's your easiest way to get an authentic item, is to go with a reputable reseller, spend over $500, and have them do the authentication for you. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, if it's not over $500 and it's a luxury resale retail item, there's probably something wrong with it. It's either really messed up, really old and faded, or it's just absolutely fake. Those are some tips and tricks because you're just not going to get these items that cheap. For example, the Hermès Birkin bag, granted, I've had mine since 2013. It was $10,000. So folks will go and buy the real item, the $10,000 item. And then if they're going to sell it brand new, they're immediately going to turn around and sell it for about $18,000. Probably the cheapest brand new Birkin bag you're ever going to find on a resale site is about $18,000. So if you're seeing less than that, you really need to turn on your suspicious ears, whatever you want to call it, because there's definitely something off. And that's a big clue. You always got to do the gut check. Always follow your gut. If something doesn't feel right, don't buy it. All right, so that being said, you're on a reputable resale site, you're looking for the right item. So here's some things to watch out for. First and foremost, does it look too good to be true? Because if it does, it probably is. If an item you see they're selling a brand new Hermès Birkin bag and they're trying to sell it for $800, $1,000, you absolutely know that is fake. But the same goes with Chanel. If you go online and it seems like the Chanel's too cheap, it's probably fake. Or there is something very, very wrong with it. And at that point, you're gonna wanna look at pictures and you're gonna wanna find out, why is this bag so cheap? Because it shouldn't be. Something else to think about pricing wise. Is the price too high? Is the price too low? Most of those handbags, as they sell, will fall within a range. So if let's say the range is $5,000 to $7,000. So if you find an item that's $9,000, something suspicious. But if you find an item that's $200, definitely fake. Absolutely fake. You'll never get any of these luxury goods brand new for $200. If you go online and they're offering it for $200 brand new, then those are completely fake items. Those are not authentic. Chanel, Hermès, Louis Vuitton, whatever they are, they're someone else's made up brand that they're selling to you as the real thing. How many are they selling? Is there more than one? Are there multiple colors? Does it come in multiple sizes? All of those are clues something is wrong. And here's why. These items in general are one of a kind. They're very expensive. They're very hard to come by. Even if you have the money, they can be hard to get. So no one's getting more than one size. No one's getting more than one black Birkin. So if you find a brand new black Togo leather Birkin bag and they're selling two of them, one is or both are fake. Something's wrong. That is definitely a clue there's a problem because they're only likely to have one. Again, multiple colors. They're probably only going to have one in black. If they have black and red though, that's still suspicious because these bags are so hard to get. It is unlikely that someone's going to get two in two different colors. The same goes with shoes. If they say, oh, I've got these Chanel boots, I have them in 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, whichever size you want, I got them. That's suspicious. There's probably only going to be one size available. If I ever see someone selling more than one size, I know something is wrong. I will specifically Google search Chanel, ballet flats, size 37, because that's what I wear. And then that will be what will pop up. If I get one, they're like, oh, we got all these Chanel flats. We got them in 37, 37 and a half, 38, 39, whatever you want. Suspicious. Those are not real. You're only going to find one size, one color, one item. Next, take a look at the photos. Is the photo their main photo? Is it just a stock photo that they found online or from Chanel's website or whatever? Or is it the actual photo of the actual item? This is a big clue. You want the actual photo of the actual item they have in hand. If they don't have a photo, something is wrong. If all they have is stock photos, something is wrong. They might have one stock photo, which is great because you want to know what it looks like on the model or you want to know what it looks like if you bought it for real. Absolutely. However, you want to see the actual bag. There should be other photos that look like they were taken in a bedroom. There should be photos of the outside of the bag, the inside of the bag. There should be a photo of the tag. If there's any marks or scrapes, there should be specific photos of those. If they have a receipt, you want a photo of the receipt. If they have the actual box, you might want a photo of the box. All of these things, these real photos of the real item are going to give you a clue. It's probably real. And if they don't have that, don't buy it because there's something wrong. Also, they have multiple ads for the same thing. When you go through Poshmark or Vestiaire Collective, you'll scroll through and you'll see some unique bags. And then you'll see these bags that look brand new. It's got a generic photo from a website. And it looks like there are 3 or 4 of them. You see one and then you scroll down and there's an ad for another one. These are paid ads and they're putting several in there. Usually those are fake. I don't even click on those. I don't even look at those. I don't even waste my time. I just go for the real bags that look like the photos were taken in my living room or in my bedroom, wherever. And there's only one of them, and you're only going to see it one time. Now, you might see it across multiple websites. For instance, a lot of sellers will put it on Poshmark, and they'll put it on eBay, and they'll put it on Vestiaire Collective. I wouldn't necessarily buy it from eBay. I would end up going to Poshmark, where I know they're going to authenticate it. However, you may see the same ad on two different sites. However, if you see multiple ads on the same site where it looks like they're putting an ad in front of you, those are usually not real. And those aren't the ones you're going to want to waste your time on. Let's talk about labels. Is there a picture of the label? Do they have the item number? Because if you can look at the label, for instance, all Chanel labels are not made exactly the same. However, they're very well made. So it's gonna look really nice. If it looks like, the Chanel logo is two C's that crisscross. So it's gonna look perfect. If you look at it and think, oh, the color looks faded, or oh, those C's don't look straight, or oh, it doesn't even look straight on the page, or those are all clues it's fake, because it will be perfect, pristine, wonderful if it's real. That is just an easy gut check, is what does the label look like? Also, let's talk about authenticity cards. So back in the day, I would say before the year 2020, they used to provide authenticity cards with a lot of luxury handbags. Chanel, Balenciaga, Louis Vuitton, all of these different luxury brands used to provide authenticity cards. Hermès is the one different. They've never provided an authenticity card. So if someone tries to give you an authenticity card for an Hermès bag, that Hermès bag is fake because they have never had authenticity cards. Also, all of the luxury brands got rid of their authenticity cards circa like 2020, 2021. Now they have a sewn-in serial number. So if someone is trying to give you a brand new Chanel bag and they say, I'll send you the authenticity card, that's not a real Chanel bag because Chanel doesn't make authenticity cards anymore. You want to respond back and say, can you give me a picture of the serial number? It's inside the bag. It's usually sewn into the lining and it can be really hard to find. You got to search for it. Sometimes it's inside of the zipper, but usually eventually you can find the serial number. If they will give you a picture of that, you're probably golden. It's probably real. But if you buy an older bag, let's say you bought a Chanel bag 10 years ago, you want to ask for that authenticity card. I would not buy it. I would not accept it unless they provide the authenticity card with it. Once again, these are for bags that are 5-10 years old. For newer bags, no more authenticity cards. So if they say they have one, immediate clue, it's fake. So same thing. If you look at the item, if you zoom in your photos and the stitching doesn't look very good, I mean, I can tell you this bag is 12 years old and there's barely a mark on it. There's a little, maybe a slight dent here, but that's from where it's been sitting in the box and not anything else. But if you were to look up close at the stitching is beautiful. It's perfect. There's not even a mark. That's how well they make their handbags. So if they send you a picture, especially of an Hermès bag, and the stitching is coming out, it's a fake. It's a fake. It's that simple. These things will hold up for a lifetime. They're handmade, and it takes, artisans make them, and they spend hours, days making just one bag. So they are high quality. So if it doesn't feel high quality, if it seems like anything's off, if it seems like, that the stitching is too visible, if it seems not straight, if it's starting to come out, all signs it's probably a fake. And remember, all of these resale items should be unique. When you're going online, once again, I don't remember when I got this red bag, but you're probably only going to find one of them. If you see them online at several different stores, some looking brand new, then it's probably a sign it's not real. So you got to go with that gut check. Once again, is this too good to be true? Because if you think so, it probably is. So let's wrap this up. Once again, if you're going to buy your first online item, tips and tricks to remember so you make sure you get the real deal the first time around. Never return anything ever again. First off, go to a reputable resale site. Only go to the ones that everyone's heard of. RealReal, Vestair Collective, Poshmark. Go to a place where they authenticate the item if it's over $500. I would not shop from any place that doesn't authenticate for me because I don't want to get it in hand and have to do that authentication. Second off, check the seller. Is it some generic name like Luxury Goods Online or Chanel Handbags New? Those are all fake. You're looking to buy from a real human being. If it says Christy Connor, there's a good chance it's probably real because Christy probably went to the store and bought it for herself. Now, there are people who go to the store and they will buy a bunch of handbags or a bunch of shoes with the intent to resell. Those items are always going to be more expensive than the real thing. So if they're cheaper, that's a problem. And those items are still going to come from a singular person. They probably don't have a company called Luxury Brands Online. It's probably Christie's Closet. So you want to buy from Christie's Closet, not some luxury brands online. So that's a big clue. Again, you're thinking, I generally think I should buy from something big box, from a big store. Not in this case. In this case, when you're buying resale items online, you're looking to buy from a specific person. So once again, you go to the authenticated resale site. You buy from a specific person. They should have only one of those items in stock. They should have photos of the actual item. They should be able to provide either authenticity card or serial number or be able to tell you that that is available. And last but not least, gut check. Does it feel too good to be true? It probably is. Does it feel too cheap? I'm getting a good deal. It's probably fake. There's going to be a range and you're going to fall within that range. So thank you so much for joining me today on how to spot a fake. If you liked my video, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time for more online shopping tips.